Speaker's giving his icebreaker. So Sean Tucker, you may continue to be relaxed. Pass the buzzer.
That was subtle.
It's his icebreaker speech. He's been tasked to tell us about himself. With his best, worst attempt at answering the question, who am I? With his speech title, A Crisis, my icebreaker speech. Please give a warm welcome to Toastmaster, Luis Sorto.
No es hasta que estemos perdidos que empezamos a entendernos a nosotros mismos. Not until we are lost do we begin to understand. Yeah, I know, that's a corny quote. And also, Henry David Thoreau said it, and he definitely said it in English, not Spanish, but here we are. But he had a point as it regards to this speech. You see, I was tasked to tell you all about myself. And so I went home and I started thinking. And that led to, naturally, a question, who am I? Who am I? That was followed by several existential crises, way too many rabbit holes that I did not need to go through in the last few weeks. But then I realized one day, 2 months ago, I turned 25. And so, there can only be one reason for this. Logically, rationally, I'm going through my quarter-life crisis. See, I knew some of you would look annoyed, roll your eyes, but look, just because some of you are going through your midlife crisis does not mean that I can't go through my crisis in peace. All jokes. But in all honesty, I did have some trouble thinking of what I could say. So I thought, okay, just think of a few things that I'm kind of, sort of, maybe passionate, interested about. And I came up with 2 F's. The first, flags. Yes, flags. I love flags. I know every single country flag in the world, and most country territory flags. It all started in 3rd grade. Picture this. 7-year-old Luis, big head, small body. Fun fact, I used to be called Tweety Head because, like Tweety Bird, I had a big head and a small body. And somehow, I would find a way to hit my head on a wall every single time, not on purpose. And so there was a running theory amongst my cousins and my siblings that because my head was so big and probably heavy, that my small body could not balance it. And so I would just wobble into walls. So yeah, Tweety Head. But back to 3rd grade. I was representing my class in the school's geography bee. I was going up against the 4th and 5th grade representatives. So on the day of the geography bee, we were in the auditorium, we had an assembly. We got up on stage, and the 4th grader was the first one out. I was like, yeah, I have a child. And after several rounds of sudden death with the 5th grader, I was finally asked, what is the capital of Nevada? And I, a 3rd grader, with all the confidence in the world, walk up to the microphone and say, Las Vegas. Until this day, I have the biggest grudge against Carson City, Nevada, because it has no right being a capital of any state. So yeah, I lost. But following that geography bee, I became super interested in geography. I bought this book on the flags of the world. And like any 7 or 8-year-old, I sat down and I memorized every single flag I had at the time. And I'm not saying that geography bee or that book influenced and impacted all my life decisions, but it did do something to me. I ended up studying international affairs at Georgetown University. I studied in Jordan, where I studied Arabic. I studied in Scotland, where I ate a lot of bad haggis. And I'm a huge xenophile. I love cultures. I love learning new perspectives and hearing people's stories. So yeah, flags. But on the topic of people, that brings me to my second one. Family. I love my family like anybody else does, and I can speak about them for hours. But I'm going to stick to what it relates to this speech. Because in this moment, as I'm going through a crisis, as I'm lost, it did give me a roadmap to how to deal with these single situations. You see, when I applied to college, as a first generation college student, my parents never went to college, a lot of their siblings never went to college. I was always asked, well, what are you gonna study? What career do you wanna pursue? What profession do you wanna follow? My parents always told me, look, we're not gonna tell you what to do, or what to study, or what career to pursue. But whatever you do end up becoming, or whatever you end up doing, make sure you do it because it's right, because it's just, and because you're serving other people. That's it. Simple. You can't get lost. And yet, here we are. Lost as any kid in the middle of Walmart, not knowing where his mom is, crying. I have no idea what I'm doing. So I'm begging. I am praying to Henry David Thoreau, and he's right, that I am lost and will soon begin to understand myself. But let's be honest. I'm gonna milk this crisis out for the next 2 to 3 years. And after that, I will find another excuse as to why I don't know who I am. But for now, hopefully, through your stories and with you, I get to learn a few things about myself. And maybe learn how to use the word of the day, like in code.